Hey there, CJ Math students. Welcome to math test number 64, multiply and divide rational numbers. First thing we're going to do is kind of just review plugging in, because it's definitely going to be on your test, which is on Wednesday. So we have j plus j in parentheses divided by 6 times h divided by 2, where h is negative 2 and j is 6. So when we're plugging in, if the variable is not next to a number, you don't necessarily need parentheses when you plug in, so you don't need double parentheses here. I just have 6 plus 6 divided by 6 times, I'm going to use a dot instead, negative 2 divided by negative 2. So we use parentheses first. PEMDAS says, all right, let's do 12 divided by 6 times negative 2 divided by 2. PEMDAS says multiply or divide, whatever comes first, left to right. So division comes up first here. So I have 2 times negative 2 divided by 2. Now multiplication comes up. So I have negative 4 divided by 2. And negative 4 divided by positive 2, is negative 2 as my answer, D. So make sure you're showing all your work. And remember, when you have a variable next to each other, that means multiplication. So like I'll plug in for this one and then you'll solve. So y is negative 6 squared minus xy is parentheses 3 parentheses negative 6 plus y is negative 6. I didn't need to plug in parentheses there. Remember, an exponent means times itself. So this is exponents first, 36 minus 3 times negative 6 plus negative 6. Now multiplication, 36 minus a negative 18. Or if you said minus, you could really say, oh, keep change. That really makes that plus negative. So now it's a positive 18. So plus 18, because negative 3 times negative 6 is positive, plus negative 6. And so 36 plus 18 is going to be 54 plus negative 6. Now I have a DSSM problem that gives me 48D. All right, you do number 2 and number 4, and then come check in with an adult. Please remember order of operation. So a couple things to remember for multiplying, dividing fractions. Number 1, you don't need common denominators. Okay, so that should be a relief. But you also want to always convert mixed numbers to improper fractions before going to work. Multiply straight across the numerator and denominator. Make sure your answer doesn't have any improper fractions. And then for division, flip the second fraction, then multiply straight across on top and bottom. Make sure no improper fractions as an answer. So let's do number 5 together. First of all, I got 2 negatives, so I know my answer is going to be positive. So when I multiply straight across. I've got 32 over 21. That's improper. So how many times does 21 go into 32? 1 time with 11 left over. So 1 and 11 over 21 is my answer. Pause the video, do number 6. Watch out for negative signs. Number 7, so flip my second fraction. Again, I got 2 negatives, so I know my answer is going to be positive. So 2/7 times 2 over 3. Remember to flip that second fraction. Multiply straight across, we get 4 over 21. That's not improper, that's a proper fraction. The numerator is smaller than the denominator, so I am done. There's nothing that 4 and 21 have in common either. Pause the video, do number 8. So 9 through 12, you'll notice we have some mixed numbers here, right? So let's first change these to improper fractions. So negative 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 1, so I have negative 7 over 2 times, do it again, plus 6 here, negative 7 over 6. I have 2 negatives, so I know my answer is going to be positive. So I get 49 over 12. That's improper, right? So 12 goes into 49. How many times without going over? 4 times, because that's 48. 1 left over, so my answer is 4 and 1 over 12. Let's do pause the video, do number 10. And let's do number 11. Negative 2 and 1/2 becomes negative 5 over 2 divided by whole numbers, always put over 1, so negative 4 over 1. This is division, so remember, flip the second fraction. So we have negative 5 over 2 times 1 over 4. Multiply straight across. Sorry, that was negative. So we have 2 negatives, so again, my answer is going to be positive, so I get 5 over 8. That's a proper fraction. There's nothing in common. I am done. So make sure you do every problem through 12 and then check in with an adult. And now let's go back to our notes for multiplying and dividing decimals. So for multiplying decimals, don't line up the decimals, just multiply as normal, put the longer number on top, and in the end, count the number of numbers behind the decimal and swoop that many times. And for dividing decimals, remember that the second number goes on the outside and the first number goes on the inside. And we'll swoop to make a whole number, and we'll go over a couple of examples of that. So there's no longer number here, so I'll just put 3.5 times 3.7. Again, I'm lining up numbers, not decimals. So here I've got 35, carry my 3, that's 21, which is plus 3 is 24. Lay an egg before you go to the next line. Now I've got, cross that out, 15. So carry my 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So add these up, 5, 9, 2, 1. And remember, I have one number here behind my decimal, so I should have 2 behind my decimal in the end. So it's 12.95. And my answer is negative because I only had one negative. So circle your answer, pause the video, try and do number 14. Real quickly, you set it up as 256 times 7.2. Again, line up the numbers, not the decimals. I put the longer one on top. Again, for 15, the second number goes on the outside, so 0.2 on the outside, 3.1 on the inside. We got a swoop to make this a whole number, so swoop here. So my new division problem is 2 into 31. Make sure you put the decimal right away and scoot it up top. Copy that down exactly. So can 2 go into 3? Yeah, one time. There's 1 left over. Drop down your 1. 2 into 11, 5 times. That's 10. There's 1 left over. Now here's where I got to add a 0 and drop it on down. So 2 into 10, that's 5 times with nothing left over. So my answer is negative 15.5 because, again, I only had one negative sign. Don't lose track of those negatives. Pause and do number 16. And for 1 through 16, you can check to see if your answers are correct down below.